Good morning, everyone. Let's see if we can get this party started here. Oh, got the reverb on here. There we go. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's see. Let's get this party started here. Well, good morning, Alex.
Morning, sir.
How goes the battle?
I woke up this morning, I'm winning.
Good. Love to hear it. So let's see here. I think we are live on everywhere.
Yes, sir.
Best as I can tell at this point. All righty here. Let's see. So we have Gen X Holtz is here. Good morning, Gen X. Good morning, Joy. Full Mental Jacket is here. Good morning, Full Mental Jacket. Sherry's here from East Tennessee. Wendy is here. Scratch 65 is here. Good morning, all. All right. Well, it looks like we got Dave loading up and we got James loading up. And here comes Adam. Last but not least, Adam bringing up the rear.
Good morning.
So I don't think we're going to have Lee this morning. She said she had something come up at the last minute, just so everybody's aware. But if she does show up, please let her in. Wendy,
I already invited her.
Okay. Wendy, good morning from Memphis. Kim 55. Lisa Maria is here. Hey, so quick note to everybody. We have a new sheriff in town, and her name is Lisa Maria. She is now one of our moderators. We had a nice conversation yesterday. She's willing to help, and she's just such a wonderful, warm personality, and just so grateful to have you work helping with us, Lisa. I'm glad you agreed to help us. So there we go. We got Lisa Maria, and then we have, Golfer Kath is here. That is my sister. Golfer Kath, GLFR Kath. Go and give her a follow, everybody. King's Girl 1974 is here. The legend, John Gwynn is here. Good morning, John. Glad you could make it. And I have one other announcement. If she shows up, I don't see her here yet, Rosie, but if you see a Rosie, let me know, everybody. I want to make a little announcement about her. Lee said, hi, friends. Got to sit in the bleachers today. I'm listening. Okay, Lee. Well, you are missed, but I'm glad you're here. John, thank you for the cup of coffee. That was great. All right. So, Alex, tell me, how is life this morning other than your breathing?
Well, gold's up to $3,408.
Oh, is it really?
Yes, sir.
Holy cannoli.
So that's an $84 boost. Stock market. S&P 500 is down 25 points to 5,625. Dow is down 202 points to 41,016. NASDAQ is down 111 points to $7,732.50. Oil currently sitting at $59.55 per barrel. Bitcoin 94,592. That's about a 1% gain. The rest are down just microcosms. XRP sitting at 211. Ethereum at 1771. The headline is stocks are sliding as tariff worries come back into the focus.
Right, exactly. Good morning, Dave.
How we doing?
Well, we're doing pretty darn well over here. How's Iowa today?
No complaints. We're going to finish up soybeans today.
Uh-huh.
And just wait on our seed corn. So.
Oh, excellent.
Show off.
Yeah, exactly. So what do we have on farming and agriculture today, Dave?
Pretty quiet out there on news, but I did get the official planting progress. Corn at 40% across the United States is planted, 30% on soybeans, and 44% on spring wheat. So pretty well along average.
It's really interesting. I never even knew there were such statistics in terms of planting rates. I had no idea.
Yep. And it's the USDA, so take it with a grain of salt, too. So.
How long have they been doing that, those kind of statistics?
For forever and a day.
Really? God, I had no idea.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's probably because there's not a lot of farming going on here in Los Angeles.
That's true.
Exactly. All right, let's see. We have, Donna Fox is here. Good morning, Donna Fox. Classy 476. Glad you could make it. And Donna, thank you for all the gifts. James, you look like you're in a helicopter in the cockpit somewhere.
Yeah, I'm out in the field, just playing like Dave is. You know, he's a little further down the road than we are, but he's ahead of the game.
How far are you guys along?
We've got probably about 1,200 acres to remain in soybeans. We got a pretty good dent in it yesterday. We're going to have a good dent in it today. And I'm the tillage guy. I run around and make it all look pretty.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, so tell me, what do we have in terms of military report, or do we have one today?
We do. 1 second.
Take your time.
It's all right. We'll look at that for now. All right. I've got to disappear for a minute.
All right.
He pulled an eyebrow trick.
Well, let's see here. We've got Richard Ennis is here. Good morning, Richard. Hey, Holly's here as well. Good morning, Holly. Tom said that OPEC is dumping oil and has me a bit concerned. Would like to know our thoughts. Huh. I'm not really sure. I haven't seen. I mean, my guess is that we're going to be lowering the price of crude and the prices at the pumps are going to be dropping precipitously. But how quickly that's going to happen?
And our strategic reserve will fill up that much faster.
Exactly. Exactly. You mean the one that Biden all but depleted? That one?
Well, yeah, it had to artificially keep the prices down to make people believe that the inflation and recession were transitory.
Exactly. Hey, 1JBR2 is here from Romania again. Hey, 1JBR2, glad you can make it.
I speak a little Romanian.
What's that?
I speak a little Romanian.
Okay. Well, you know what? While James is getting that together, Adam, how are you this morning?
I'm good. I will say this much, though. I have a little tiny, almost bone to pick with Lee, and I know she's in the cheap seats. The moment she said retrograde, I had a 20-year-old thought something that was gone from the past showed up last night. So
wow.
We'll talk about that later.
Wow.
It's not her fault.
Yeah, exactly.
The moment I know it's not her fault. I'm just saying, she pointed it out, and all of a sudden it shows up. I'm going, I thought that demon was gone.
Lee, since you're a moderator now, and even if you're in the bleachers, you could still mute Adam if you want to.
Well, we got a couple of things this morning. I want to start off with we got a judge out of North Carolina. It was ironically enough, this was a judge, Richard Myers II, a district judge, and actually a Trump appointee, which is kind of ironic here. Basically saying that they must certify the election where it was Democrat Allison Riggs and Jeffrey Griffin. Griffin was challenging because there were some votes that were still allowed, over 60,000, that basically were in Democratic areas that were saying shouldn't be counted. And the judge is saying, no, we've got to go ahead and count them. So what's going on here? We got a wolf in sheep's clothing, another district judge.
Yeah.
And then our second one here, which is actually a big one, a pro-Trump led group founded by White House aide Stephen Miller. They are suing the Supreme Court Justice John Roberts.
Yep.
And I'm waiting for this perp walk myself because it's got stink written all over it for Roberts.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
Take a look into Clarence Thomas's recent remarks.
Yeah, I was kind of just getting ready to dig into that one. Was the next one. So let's kind of keep our eyes on this one. Maybe we'll get to buy it in the TikTok shop.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Mary Lou.
I'm ready for you, Sam.
Okay, go ahead, James. Oh, I thought you were there. He's playing games with us today, isn't he? He's pretending he's here, and then he vanishes, and then he comes back.
Really? You can't hear me?
Now we can.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, if you switch over to your report, we're not going to be able to hear you. And I just want everybody to know that we are MAGA. Make Alcatraz great again.
Exactly. Before.
Well, shoot. Well, I guess I don't know how I'm gonna be able to do this. I thought I would be able to go to my pictures and be able to talk at the same time, and apparently it does not want to let me do that. I was basically going to say, talk about the losses between Ukraine and Russia, and they're getting close to a million people, and that's pretty alarming.
Right.
It's really not a good thing to be able to say that, but they've lost well over 350 helicopters, an additional 378 aircraft, numerous trucks and other vehicles. It's pretty troubling. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was the Marine Admiral that was the assistant to education. She is being escorted out the office this week. Levine, I believe, Admiral Levine.
Oh, the one that dresses like a woman?
It's a guy, but well, yeah, okay, we'll go there.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's a man dressing like a woman. End of story.
It is.
I know. Yeah, I know. I forget his first name, but I think the female side of it's called Rachel. I don't remember the man side of it, but not without looking at my cheat sheet. You guys got me kind of helpless here when I'm in the cab talking with, and I can't believe I can't switch back and forth. Normally I got a notebook, but
yeah, no big deal. We'll catch up with it tomorrow. Not a big deal. But that kind of leads us right into our first story. Israel approving a plan to seize all of Gaza and hold it indefinitely. And then I heard this morning that Israel warned Yemen that they're going to be bombing their airport because Yemen's allegedly just bombed Israel's airport.
Well,
So
they done bombed it.
Yeah, 3 hours ago.
they did. Yeah. Okay. Well, boy, I don't know, man. We've got things heating up with India and Pakistan. We got things heating up over in the Middle East. James, how much firepower do we have in the Middle East right now? Do you know off the top of your head?
actually we got a lot. We've got the USS Carl Vinson. We have the USS Harry Truman. Those are two big super carriers, Nimitz class carriers. They got quite a few aircraft on board. As far as other military aircraft, we have the F-35, the F-16, the A-10, F-18As. We've got a lot of firepower that's even on the ground. All the support equipment is at Diego Garcia, so there's a lot over there.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, there has to be. I just wasn't quite sure how much was there.
Didn't they retrofit the A-10s with those rockets to take out drones? Don't know if you saw that article or not.
I may not have, but they've always had the Stinger available. So, and
it was actually even something more simple. It's kind of a very low cost, and it was very effective against the smaller drones. What I was seeing. So,
well, they're saying the most effective weapon against the drones is DEI.
Okay.
Or DEWs, directed energy weapons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's brutal. Those DEIs, man. Once those come in, we're in big ass trouble.
Rocket for rocket.
There you go.
Exactly. Hey, John Gwynn, thank you for all the gifts. It's really kind of you. Martin's WB made it. Good morning, Martin's WB. Glad you could make it. All right. So we talked about Israel and what's going on over there. We talked a little bit about Pakistan and India. So let's move back over now to California. And we have what I would consider a constitutional sheriff here in Riverside County here in California, Chad Bianco. I actually reached out to him and we had some communication back and forth. I was trying to get him on the show, and I'm sure at some point he will come on. But he called out Sacramento and called it a dirty secret. He said the homeless crisis is being kept alive on purpose because it's too profitable to solve. And then he talked about it. He called it a homeless industrial complex. I mean, Newsom spent what, $32 billion or something like that on homelessness.
24, I believe.
24 billion, had no way to track its effectiveness or efficacy. And all of a sudden now they want more money from the federal government. I mean, that is just ridiculous. What do you think, Dave?
Well, they're definitely padding their pockets with that deal. I think if I looked up in the past, I think California has 192,000 homeless, and I'm not sure how they count them. Maybe voter ID or something, maybe. But it's interesting that you can't solve it. I broke it down into 24 billion to 192,000 homeless, and it was like you could have bought them a house.
Right. Well, there was one complex that they spent $600,000 per unit. 600 grand. It had, an indoor gymnasium. It had a coffee shop for the homeless. It's like, are you kidding me? What are these people thinking?
California has the highest homelessness rate in the country by 2 times. Guess what number 2 state for homelessness is?
I would have to say
Florida,
Oregon.
no. I'd have to say, yeah, it could be Oregon.
New York.
Really?
Oregon's not even close.
Really?
10,000 in Oregon.
How
Wow.
about Washington State?
California is at 181,399. That's as of 22 populous status. Washington 28, Oregon 20. New York with 103,000. So
California is 24% of the problem of the homeless problem.
Wow.
24%.
And so too big to solve. If they figure out that they can funnel money through it, they say, hey, send us all your homeless. We'll take care of them.
Right. Exactly. Hey, Deuce, 80 Deuce Cabs here this morning. Good morning, 80 Deuce. Glad you can make it. Scratch 65 said Cali has the highest homeless population in the U.S. Well, it's a tragedy enough that they're spending this ridiculous amounts of money, not affecting the homelessness here. But how many of those homeless are veterans? And number 2, how many of them have mental illness? I would say probably the majority. So the fact that the money's going out the door, the fact that people who are in need, who deserve our help, aren't getting the help. That's what I find tragic in all of this.
Well, your belly of the beast is the leading city in the world with 65,000 homeless people.
I know, Alex, I'm telling you, you drive down the Interstate 10 here and you go through downtown Los Angeles or near it, and the overpasses, you wouldn't believe it, man. There are tents and abandoned motorhomes that people are living in. There are entire cities, entire blocks. I lived in downtown LA a number of years ago in a brand new building. It was beautiful. You walk 1 block away and it's tent cities. It's just mind blowing, the amount of homelessness here. I don't know how else to put it other than it's mind blowing. All right. So let's see here. Let's move on. Oh, there we go. Exactly. That might, I don't know where that is, but it might be Skid Row. It's hard to say.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's just crazy. It's just unbelievable.
You think with 24 billion you can be able to solve at least a little bit of that?
Come on, 24 billion? You could have solved it all. That's
Right.
just crazy.
Absolutely.
Just because you throw money at it in a democratic state doesn't mean it's going to get fixed. I mean, come on. The same
Right.
holds true. If you were to put a Democrat in charge of the Sahara Desert, there'd be a shortage of sand.
Right. I know. And it's not just the Democrats. It's the nefarious people. They could be rhinos as well.
Right. No, exactly. We got plenty of those people too. But it's like, really, I mean, you can't even go to Santa Monica Beach or Pier without having to go through all of that. And it's sad that here it is. We're really the wealthiest country on the planet, and we have that many people living in the streets.
Right. Exactly. Hey, Don, the third G is here. Good morning, Don. We had somebody post in here that said,
"Oh, Trump is on."
"Oh, Trump is on." Oh, wow. Alex, you want to see if you can find that? Crystal Zesky's here. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry to hear that your son's in the hospital, Crystal. Everybody out there, if you would say a quick prayer, good thought for Crystal's son, who apparently is in the hospital. She's a great member of this community, and any prayers that you can send to her and her family would be appreciated. Please let us know how that goes, Crystal.
My quick math: 24 billion divided by 187,000 homeless is $128,000 to each homeless person.
Wow. Wow.
You know,
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. All right. So, James, can you still hear me?
And those ships are turning around in the Pacific Ocean. Big turn. Those are big ships. Those ships take about 10 miles to turn. And, we lost $1 trillion to China on trade because of an incompetent president that we had who proceeded to be grossly incompetent. You're finding it out more and more now. And by not trading, we're losing nothing. So we're saving $1 trillion. It's a lot.
Yes, Sam, I can hear
They
you.
want to negotiate and they want to have a meeting, and we'll be meeting with them at the right time. I have not met with them, of course. You would know if I met. I'd tell you they want to meet, but we are right now.
He's meeting with Carney.
Yeah, I heard he was going to.
With the U.S. and they made most of their money off the yourself. They don't make the money off other countries like. They were making. We had a trade imbalance. We had a deficit. Or they had a surplus. Another way of saying it, more than $1 trillion. Think of it, more than $1 trillion. And because of 145%, that's the only reason. But because of they have now 145%, there's no trading. You can't trade with 145%. We are therefore making, in a certain way, I guess, $1.1 trillion. In other words, we're not losing $1.1 trillion. A deficit is much better. When I started, I said we were losing billions of dollars a day on trade. That's rapidly turning around. We looked at numbers this morning. So we were losing, the United States during Biden was losing more than, I won't even give you numbers because they're so embarrassing, but billions of dollars a day on trade. Those numbers are rapidly turning between the tariffs. Don't forget, we're now getting 25% on cars, 25% on aluminum, 25% on steel, and maybe more importantly, massive numbers of companies are moving into the United States. Honda, we have tremendous, the car companies are moving in at levels we've never seen before. The biggest investment ever made in the United States is being made right now. Trillions of dollars. I would say we could be at $9 trillion. You could go back to other presidents that haven't had $1 trillion for their entire term. Look at Biden. He had bad numbers. People are leaving. They weren't coming in.
He had $1 trillion on ice cream, quite frankly.
Again, they were illegal immigrants. Okay, from prisons, from mental institutions, from all sorts of places that weren't there, from gangs, from Venezuela. They were coming in and they were criminals and murderers. 11,888 people that murdered, and at least half of them murdered more than one person. This is what Biden led into our country. I'm bringing in big companies. We have Apple is investing $500 billion. We have Jensen, is $500, the biggest chip maker, chip thinker, I call him. He's really a thinker more than a maker.
Classy 476, thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the team.
It was a cram course, but they're all moving into America because of the tariffs. And I don't think people have appreciated it. Some people do, some of the smart people do. So we have more money coming in. It's really an amazing thing. We have more money being invested in the United States now than at any time ever before in our history, and it's not even close. And I think the real number could be 9 or 10 trillion. Everybody we have. I just heard about a plant that's being built right now, a very, very top of the line company, and they didn't come to the White House. They're just doing it because they're making it. Because if they build it, there are no tariffs.
If you build it, they will come.
This is the market. That sets us apart. This is the market where everyone wants to be. Now, if I didn't come here and do this, all of a sudden we wouldn't be the market where everyone wants to be. So we're able to do it in time. But we're going to have a great announcement, and I'm not necessarily saying it's on trade. Going to the beginning, we're going to have a great announcement over the next few days, an announcement that will be so incredible, so positive. And I'm not saying, I don't want you to think it's necessarily on trade. Just to finish, we also have the situation, because everyone says, when are you going to sign deals? We don't have to sign them. We can sign 25 deals right now, Howard, if we wanted. We don't have to sign deals. They have to sign deals with us. They want a piece of our market. We don't want a piece of their market. We don't care about their market. They want a piece of our market. So we can just sit down, and I'll do this at some point over the next 2 weeks, and I'll sit with Howard and Scott and with our great vice president who has done a really good job. We have some good news to report on a lot of fronts. But JD will be there, and we're going to sit down and we're going to put very fair numbers down and say, here's what this country, what we want, and congratulations, we have a deal. And they'll either say, great, and they'll start shopping, or they'll say, not good, we're not going to do it. I said, that's okay, you don't have to shop. Now, we may think, well, they have a right, that maybe we were a little bit wrong, so we'll adjust it. And then you people will say, oh, it's so chaotic. Yeah, we're flexible. But we'll sit down and we'll at some point sign something much less important than what I'm doing. We're just going to put down a number and say, this is what you're going to pay to shop. It's a fair number. It'll be a low number. We're not looking to hurt countries. We want to help countries. We want to be friendly with countries. But you keep writing about deals. When are we going to sign?
Hold on.
We're going to say, in some cases, we want you to open up your country. In some cases, we want you to drop your tariffs. I mean, India, as an example, is one of the highest tariffs in the world. We're not going to put up with that. And they've agreed already to drop it. They'll drop it to nothing. They've already agreed. They would have never done that for anybody else but me. So we're going to put down some numbers, and we're going to say our country is open for business, and they're going to come in, and they're going to pay for the privilege of being able to shop in the United States of America. It's very simple. It's very simple. So I wish they'd keep, stop asking how many deals are you signing this week? Because one day we'll come and we'll give you 100 deals, and they don't have to sign. All they have to do is say, "Oh, we'll start sending our ships right now to pick up whatever we want, or to bring whatever we want." It's very, very simple. And I think my people haven't made it clear. We will sign some deals, but much bigger than that is we're going to put down the price that people are going to have to pay to shop in the United States. Think of us as a super luxury store, a store that has the goods. You're going to come and you're going to pay a price, and we're going to give you a very good price. We're going to make very good deals, and in some cases we'll adjust. But that's where it is. And we've been ripped off by everybody for 50 years. And we're just not going to do that anymore. We can't do that. And we can't let any country do that to us. We're just not going to do it anymore.
Oh my goodness.
No, it's not a deal. They've said, please don't bomb us anymore, and we're not going to attack you.
Who was he talking about?
The Houthis.
Oh,
Source. When you say Marco, I would say pretty good. Very genuine. A very good source. They don't want to be bombed anymore, Sort of thought that would happen. But what fact? No, it's fine. It's there. It's good. We use it for certain things. It's there. We have the USMCA is a good deal for everybody. I won't say this about Mark, but I didn't like his predecessor. I didn't like a person that worked. She was terrible, actually. She was a terrible person. And she really hurt that deal very badly because she tried to take advantage of the deal and she didn't get away with it. You know what I'm talking about. But, so, we had a bad
He don't look happy.
relationship.
Is it just me? He doesn't look happy.
yeah, that's because he's being spanked.
It's his time in the barrel.
It's good for all countries. It's good for all countries. We do have a negotiation coming up over the next year or so to adjust it or terminate it.
I'll say a word on USMCA. It is a basis for a broader negotiation. Some things about it are going to have to change. And part of the way you conducted these tariffs has taken advantage of this aspects of this. It's going to have to change. There's other elements that it comes, and that's part of the difference.
decided not to shop with the Americans as the golden other countries. Well, we don't do much business with Canada from our standpoint. They do a lot of business with us. We're at like 4%, and usually those products we sell, nobody else can sell. Including, we make the best military equipment in the world, and Canada buys our military equipment, which we appreciate. But we make the best military equipment in the world by far. The missiles, the submarine, everything we have is really top notch. I rebuilt our military during our last term. Stupidly, we gave some away to Afghanistan, which was, I think, was the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. It was just incompetent people. But if you look at the man that's now at the head of our Joint Chiefs, who led the attack on ISIS for me, was the head of the Joint Chiefs, and Raising Cane. He was unbelievable, and as you know, we defeated ISIS in 3 weeks. It was supposed to take 5 years. We did it in 3 weeks, and he ran the campaign. I said, but I knew him before. I went to Iraq. We agreed to a plan, and that was the plan. And as you know, we did it in record time. So we have the best. We have the best equipment in the world. We have the best a lot of things. But Canada does a lot more business with us than we do with Canada. When did the investment when you're saying about the tariffs? No, about the investment. Oh, it's hitting right now. Look, they're already starting AI plans. These are not people that look for financing. That's a good thing. You know, in real estate, you get a site, then you have to look for financing. You have to get your zoning. 5 years later, you start building. You get a bank. Then the bank's no good. These people have massive amounts of cash. The CHIPS Act was a ridiculous thing because that doesn't get them to build. All we did is hand very wealthy companies money. The CHIPS Act that was done by Biden. Billions, we give them billions of dollars. They don't even have to do anything with it. And then if you weren't, if you didn't have, and I don't want to be a wise guy, but if you didn't go with the EEI, if you didn't go with all of the different things, well, if you weren't, well, you couldn't even use the money. You had to have a certain percentage of this and that and that and that. It's impossible to have. The people, the companies actually complained to me. They said they gave me all this money, but nobody can get these people to do anything. I mean, look, President Obama, and if you wanted help, I'd give him help because I'm a really good builder and I build on time, on budget. He's building his library in Chicago. It's a disaster. And he said something to the effect, I only want DEI, I only want, well, he wants woke people to build it. Well, he got woke people and they have massive cost overruns, the job is stopped. I don't know, it's a disaster. And I don't like that happening because I think it's bad for the presidency that a thing like that should happen. He's got a library that's a disaster. And he wanted to be very politically correct, and he used good, hard, tough, mean construction workers that I love, Marco. I love those construction workers. But he didn't want construction workers. He wanted people that never did it before. It's been a disaster in a sense. Like millions of dollars, really many millions of dollars over budget. And I would love to help him with it. Or somebody else, I could recommend professionals. But it was not built in a professional manner. By the way, nor was in California a little train going from San Francisco.
Oh, yeah.
It's being run by Gavin Newsom, the governor of California. Did you ever hear of Gavin Newsom? He has a train, the worst cost overrun I've ever seen. Totally out of control. So then they said, all right, we won't go into San Francisco. We'll stop 45 miles short. And we won't go into Los Angeles. We'll stop 45 miles short. It's hundreds of billions of dollars for this stupid project that should have never been built. And then they realized that it would have been a lot less costly if we just gave limousine service back and forth and gave it free. They would have saved hundreds of billions of dollars. They have airplanes that go there for one 1/100th the cost, and And they have cars. They have a thing called the highway that goes back and forth. It's not fully utilized. And they got involved with this project. And Gavin, I always liked Gavin. I had a good relationship with him. I just got him a lot of water. I sent in people to open up that water because he refused to do it. And we just got him a lot of water. If they would have had that water, and they would have done what I said to do at the fires in Los Angeles. Those fires would have been put out very quickly. But if you think about it, and you got to take a look at this, it's the worst crossover I've ever seen. I've watched a lot of stupid people build a lot of stupid things. The worst crossover I've ever seen. What's happening in San Francisco, Los Angeles? And you want to ask about that because this government is not going to pay. I told our very great new Secretary of Transportation, he's doing a good job, Sean Duffy. I said, we're not going to pay for that thing. They are just, it's out of control.
We lost audio, Alex.
Craziest thing.
Got a phone call. Sorry.
It was a simple train, and I think the media should take a look at it. And I'd love him to run for president on the other side. I'd love to see that, but I don't think he's going to be running because that one project alone, well, that and the fires and a lot of other things, pretty much put him out of the race. We're going to work on some subtle changes. Maybe I don't even know if we're going to be dealing with USMCA. We're dealing more with concepts right now. Look, right now we're doing trade. We have trade. They're paying a tariff on cars and steel and aluminum.
Good one, Dave.
We're getting along very well. Right now, going no further, but we have an agreement. We did something with Even Plus. You want to discuss that, Howard, with respect to Canada, which helps Canada out?
Sure. So we made an arrangement with the car companies that 15% of their USMCA parts are included, and then 15% of foreign parts from the manufactured suggested retail price are not tariffed to help domestic manufacturing really thrive.
So it gave them a chance to be able to build their car parts factories if they're going to. A lot of these companies already have factories, and what they have to do is just fill them out. But they're able to build them in the United States, so we gave them a pretty substantial period of time. Tariffing cars.
Is there anything you can say to enforce your needs?
No.
Why not?
That's the way it is. Sure, I will. But this is not necessarily a one-day deal. This is over a period of time they have to make that decision. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, if I may. Respectfully, Canadians' view on this is not going to change on the 51st day. Secondly, we are the largest client of the United States in the totality of all the goods. So we are the largest client of the United States. We have a tremendous auto sector between the two of us, and the changes we've made have been helpful. 50% of the car that comes from Canada is American. That's not like anywhere else in the world. And to your question about is there one thing? No, this is a bigger discussion. There are much bigger forces involved. And this will take some time and some discussions, and that's why we're here, to have those discussions. And that is represented by who's sitting around.
See, the conflict is, and this is very friendly. We're not, this is not going to be like, we had another little blow up with somebody else. That was a much different, this is a very friendly conversation, but we want to make our own cars. We don't really want cars from Canada. And we put tariffs on cars from Canada, and at a certain point, it won't make economic sense for Canada to build those cars.
Damn it.
And we don't want steel from Canada because we're making our own steel, and we're having massive steel plants being built right now as we speak. We really don't want Canadian steel, and we don't want Canadian aluminum and various.
Right to his face. I love it.
And we, because of
He is not happy. Tongue in cheek, like he keeps.
They have a surplus with us. and there's no reason for us to be subsidizing Canada. Canada's a place that will have to be able to take care of itself economically. I assume they can. I will tell you that Trudeau, when I spoke to him, I used to call him Governor Trudeau. I think that probably didn't help his election. But when I spoke to him, I said, so why are we taking your cars? Why are we taking your, we want to make them ourselves. And if the price of your cars went up, or if we put a tariff on your cars of 25%, what would that mean to you? He said, that would mean the end of Canada. He actually said that to me. And I said, that's a strange answer, but I understand his answer. But no, I mean, it's hard to justify subsidizing.
Rocking back and forth.
Yeah.
That dude is so uncomfortable.
That's the look that you get from a sandpaper massager on the TikTok shop.
Well, but it's not fair. But why are we subsidizing Canada $200 billion a year, or whatever the number might be? It's a very substantial number, and it's hard for the American taxpayer to. Thank you very much. We're going to have a very
Okay, well, that was President Trump with Prime Minister from Canada, Mark Carney. For those of you who are just jumping in here, it's really interesting. President Trump doesn't pull any punches. He delivers it really smoothly and I would say politically correct for the most part. But what he's basically saying is we will crush you unless you play ball our way. And he referenced the USMCA. I think that's a significant, I've said this before. I think the USMCA, which took the place of NAFTA, a lot of what we're seeing play out now was probably negotiated back then. Alex, what are your thoughts?
Him squirming and
Yep. Yeah.
That dude is uncomfortable. Anyway, optics, right? And so I'm going to bring the world leader to a table with another country, and I'm going to make him squirm in front of a national audience. Peace through strength, folks. Just say it to his face. We don't need anything from Canada. Like, what?
Right. We don't want your steel. We don't want your cars. We don't want anything you basically have. And how can Carney respond? He couldn't. That's why he kept his mouth shut. What's he going to say? Yeah. Oh, what are we going to do? Cut back to the maple syrup deliveries? I don't care. Right? I mean, my goodness.
Do you think he was wearing Depends, Sam?
Well, I'm sure, and I'm sure they got a workout. Exactly. Exactly.
You know my definition of diplomacy. It's the difference of being able to tell someone to go to hell and tell someone to go to hell and they look forward to the trip.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I think it's peace through strength. We've got them by the you-know-whats, the short hairs. They know it. There's not much they can do. What's Carney going to do? Throw a hissy fit in front of the press and scream and yell? No, he knows he's got them. I mean, they're sitting in the White House, the greatest home court advantage in the world. What's he going to say?
Exactly. He's pulled him in, and Carney can't sit and be Mr. Tough guy behind his own little setup, and then he gets in front of Trump and he's like, okay, I'm kind of screwed here.
Well, there's just not much you can do about it. James, what do you think?
He looked very uncomfortable. In everything, we knew he was going to cave. It was in the news late last night. It was in the news this morning that he was going to succumb to. They don't have a choice. Their back's up against the wall. If we don't take it, nobody else is either.
Yeah, exactly. Dave? Can't hear you.
You muted, Dave. Oh, he got a call probably.
No, I said we got pocket aces, and the rest are just trying to play it out here. So
Right, exactly, 100%. All right, so let's move over. We're going to do an abbreviated version of the dispatches. I don't want to carry people over too long. but this one I think is really important, and I want to run it by you guys. So there was a Bush official. Her name is Catherine Austin Fitts. She came out. She was on Tucker. I think she was also on Alex Jones. And she claims that the U.S. built a secret $21 trillion underground city for rich and powerful to live in if there was a near extinction event. Now, is this going to be the precipice or the precipitation of deep underground military bases being exposed? I mean, I would think one kind of goes with the other. Alex, what do you think?
Save my answer for last, please.
Okay. James, what do you think?
Well, 100% disabled vets, retired military. I think it's going to be our new Airbnb. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that they built something like this. You have places like NORAD. I mean, there's a lot of underground facilities throughout the world, throughout the United States. When they talk about this $21 trillion project, they say that they're all connected. There's travel underneath the soil, underneath the earth. Up in Antarctica, there's supposed to be something built underneath the ice. I've got a little bit of homework done on that this morning, and it's really mind-boggling that they could actually do this right underneath our nose and nobody even really having an idea what was going on.
I remember years ago, Jesse Ventura did a documentary. I forget the name of the series, the show that he did. I can't remember off the top of my head. Conspiracy Theory. Yeah, there it is. And he highlighted that. He took cameras in there and filmed it. I was, to say the least, shocked. So, we'll just have to see how it plays out. Alex, what were you going to say?
Well, to add to what our military experts said, we have Cheyenne Mountain. We have
Denver Airport.
Well, that's not confirmed. I know. We're going to stick with confirmed for a moment. Rockhaven, Mount Weather Emergency Operations Center. If you do a quick Google search for world's largest underground drill, U.S. Air Force comes to the top, which doesn't make sense because they're Air Force. But look, they absolutely have the ability to build underground and do it at a relatively fast pace. So the fact that someone of her stature and her background, understanding government contracts, money, where it goes, when it went there, and the projects that it went to, I would say there's probably quite a bit of merit to what this woman's coming forward and saying. We have Bezos, we have Zuckerberg, we have Oprah, we have all these multimillionaire, billionaire people that are building these very large houses with 8, 10, 15,000 square feet of underground. Like, okay, what is it they are doing this for? They can laugh it off, but let's follow this in just a conspiracy theory type scenario. You've got a dog cornered that has his finger on a nuclear button. That's I think one of the last options they have left to stop this sweeping change that's happening right now, and to me that's kind of scary.
Well, Scratch 65 said there's no concrete evidence to support her claims. You may be right, Scratch. I think more importantly, it's bringing these underground facilities, which we know that there are dumps. Now, whether there's a $21 trillion thing that she talked about, I don't know. But it's bringing the idea of these underground cities or underground developments to the public's consciousness, which I think is important. Now, maybe the specifics aren't exactly right, but the fact that people are now saying, wait a minute, there's stuff underneath the ground, which most of us here know have been known for a long time. Go ahead, Alex.
Just do a search for Cold War era missile silos. You will be blown away by where these things are located. Like you will literally go, oh my God, like that's right in the middle of a residential neighborhood and people didn't know it was there when it was being built. So, truth is stranger than fiction, folks.
Right.
Look up look up Dugway Proving Ground in Utah. Look up Area 52, and then look up the NS8 data center, and look how close all three of those are.
Right.
You
Again,
know, it was interesting talking about this underground thing. In my study quick this morning, Fort Knox happened to be included in one of those underground facilities.
interesting. Yeah.
Well,
So
that's supposedly where our reserve gold is. So, you know, that's Alex's department. He should know about that.
yeah, Scratch 65 said military institutions that are underground are not for elites. I agree. I'm not debating you or disagreeing with you, Scratch. I'm just saying that this is a process to bring these types of situations to top of mind. Alex?
I got my gold reserves.
Oh, nice.
There it is.
Oh, you know what? That reminds me. Something I didn't realize until yesterday. There's somebody on the panel who sent some things to all of us on the panel, but somehow was unable to get them delivered because there was no postage on the envelopes. I just found out about that yesterday. I had no idea, James.
Who told you that? Alex? I mean, Sam?
It cracked me up. I didn't know what was going on. And Alex is all, yeah, didn't you hear what happened? I said, no, what? He said, James didn't put any postage on the envelopes. Well, that's going to be a fly in the ointment, James.
I walked in dumbfounded. I had the envelopes in, threw it in the the open the door dumpster type thing, threw it in there, and more than a week passed, and I hadn't been in there during business hours. And I walked in, and the guy goes, James, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, uh-oh, what'd I do? And she goes, well, it's not a matter of what you did do, it's what you didn't do. And I'm like, what was that? She goes, you didn't put any postage on your mail. And she
did you think they were just going to send it based on your good looks, James?
Yeah, well,
at least it's military history. They should have at least given it.
James gets a lot of attention with his looks, guys. I mean, come on, he's got more than
it's the no eyebrows.
Yeah, hey, they're growing back. Come on, give me some latitude here. Adam, did you get yours yet today?
Not yet. My mail won't be here till about 5 o'clock.
Anyway, once I found out about that, James, I couldn't help but bust your chops about it.
Oh, I just knew it.
Yeah.
You know, you guys get a hold of one thing, you're like a fucking wood bit. You know that?
Daddy D.
Just grind and grind.
Daddy D said tunnels to each state capital in certain places. I have not heard that, but it wouldn't surprise me. All right, so let's move over to BJ Party said it was a senior moment. Ouch. Nice one, Peggy. All right, so Watch Your Guru.
Whoa. Who said that?
PJ Party.
I'm going to remember that.
So Watch Your Guru yesterday posted that 31% of IRS tax auditors quit following the Doge downsize. Now, how many offices of the IRS were closed? We're in the middle of tax season. I find that interesting. What do you think, Adam?
We're right here. We're right here at the height of tax season, and we're shuttering doors of the IRS. Come on. This should tell us exactly what's going on. I think the IRS is going to be nothing more than a payment processing center division in the Treasury when it's all said and done.
Yeah, Dave?
Well, and what were they doing? You know, were they doing their job or were they doing something else other than taxes?
Yeah, exactly. James?
OnlyFans.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? Let me do a quick sponsor announcement here. I lost track of time. Not only do I get mixed up when we have different orders on the video screen or on the screen, but when we have President Trump jump in there, it just throws me all out of whack. So, first up, MyPillow, Mike Lindell. They've sponsored me from the beginning. They're a great company. It's an American company. If you'd like to support this channel, Mike Lindell and MyPillow, go to mypillow.com or mystore.com. Enter in the discount code SAM on either site, and you'll get up to 80% off of all of your purchases. Secondly, we have Neil Naturopathic, the only non-toxic, chemical-free hair care products in the country that I'm aware of. Go to neilnaturopathic.com, use the code SAM20, that's SAM20, and you'll get 20% off of your entire order. And you can use it repeatedly. Thirdly, we have Dr. Peter Glidden. the man is a stalwart in natural healthcare. If you go to samshalhoub.com, there's 2 buttons for Dr. Glidden. One will take you to his website where you can ask any question that you have concerning health and wellness. The second one will take you to a link to buy his book. Use the code SAM and you'll get a 10% discount. And then as always, Alex, we talk a little bit about cybersecurity.
Absolutely. Struggling to keep up with your cybersecurity threats and compliance demands? Bristol Technologies takes care of that for you. We are a cloud-based platform that simplifies the management of assessments, annual assessments for your compliance. We have over 40 ready-to-use cybersecurity policies that are ready to be implemented in a powerful learning management system to train your staff on the pitfalls of cybersecurity. We're trusted by hospitals, universities, and businesses worldwide. So risktooltech.com, reach out to us through the end of May. If you are the person that refers a business to us, we will kick you back to first month.
Wow, that's a deal, especially if you have a fairly good-sized company. Thanks for that explanation, Alex.
In some cases, it's as low as $1 per month per seat. So you can train an employee for $12 a year. And if that organization happens to have 13,000 employees, you can do the math pretty quickly, folks.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you. Scratch 65 said, hey, James, keep those eyebrows high and tight.
Oh, isn't that just great?
Oh, look, PJ Party. You're not the only one, James. PJ Party, Peggy just said, a senior moment for Sam, too. Oh, I'm sorry, PJ Party. It looks like somehow you just got muted in the chat. I wonder how that happened.
Yeah, baby.
All right, so let's move over to apparently there's going to be a U.S. Treasury report. It was either yesterday or coming out today. And they're talking about managing and launching a Bitcoin reserve using seized assets. Well, didn't President Trump come out a few months ago and say, we're going to do a Bitcoin strategic reserve and we're not going to take any money from the Treasury? Alex, what do you think? Do you think this is what he's talking about?
Quite frankly, it's brilliant. Quite frankly, it's going to work out the greatest sovereign wealth fund ever. Just stay tuned.
Exactly. Adam?
I would definitely agree. This is a first step in signaling how he's going to build that up because, again, when you look at Basel III, Basel IV, and the gold reserves, he's not going to sell out or trade those in. That's going to be working in tandem with the other crypto reserve as well. So here we go.
Yeah, exactly. James?
You know, if the Florida State Patrol can buy Corvettes with seized drug money, I don't see anything wrong with taking it and put it in the reserve. Whatever it takes. It's if it's done wrong and we get a hold of it, I don't think there's anything wrong with using the money any way we need to.
Right, exactly. Dave?
And let's get it started. It's time.
Yeah, 100% I agree. All right, moving on. President Trump announced that Washington, D.C. will host the 2027 NFL Draft on the National Mall. Now, as you guys all know, I'm not much of a sports guy, but I am aware that the NFL is a huge draw. Alex, do you think that this is a significant thing? And if so, do you think it's signaling something else that I'm not aware of?
Isn't that game where you kick the ball and score more points?
I think so. We're not quite sure, though.
I know it's a big thing, but I'm like you, Sam. I'm not a huge NFL person. So could it draw people there? Is it a good thing for the economy to have a sports stadium come back for DC? I find it very interesting how Bowser was placed right behind the podium the entire time that Trump was having to speak about it, but we'll see how that plays out, sir.
Yeah. Lisa Maria said it's huge. I'm a go Chiefs. Okay, well, at least, all right, well, we have our NFL expert now with Lisa Maria. I'm glad to hear that. All right, so let's move on here. Yesterday, President Trump was talking about, and this is really significant. President Trump was talking about Alcatraz. And he said, well, I guess I was supposed to be a movie maker. We started with the movie making, and we'll end. I mean, it represents something very strong, very powerful in terms of law and order. Now, where is it that I've heard that phrase, are we watching a movie? Oh, that's right. It's on that other board that we follow. What are your thoughts on that, Dave?
Yes, and I don't know how else you could interpret it, really.
Right.
I mean, there's only one way to interpret it, and that only means one thing. We're really getting close, in my opinion.
I would tend to agree, James.
You know?
James? Oh, did we lose James?
Gavin Newsom, when he was asked that question this morning. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello? Hello? I'm here.
Go ahead.
Gotcha.
Okay, well, I watched, am I not here? Okay, well, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, I watched an interview with Gavin Newsom when he was asked the question, that very question this morning about President Trump activating Alcatraz for a new facility. And he said, well, it doesn't really make sense since it only holds 336 people. I think it's way more than that, isn't it?
Not sure. But what I did find out is that Alcatraz, actually the refurbishment of Alcatraz started under Biden last July. Interesting, huh?
Not really.
Interesting.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Yep. Very interesting.
I think we've got an optic thing going on here as well. I'm going to double back here onto the NFL situation. Like, is he bringing attention to that the game is rigged as well, and that it is all a scripted movie being played out between the two things? Have you noticed how those two things are being brought out kind of side by side?
Right. Exactly. Well, and you know what's also interesting is Pam Bondi came out yesterday. Oh, did you want to say something, Alex?
Yeah, it's Alcatraz. Make Alcatraz great again. There were originally 336 cells in the B and C block. NPS states that there were originally 348, but 12 were removed when the stairways were installed at the end of each cell block. And there are 36 segregation cells and 6 solitary confinement. So when I think about this, it makes me think about a continuity bill that was passed where what if something happened to more than 100 members of the Senate and Congress? I mean, it could be Alcatraz.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out.
Add the judges on there too and see.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So let's talk about the last story today. Pam Bondi coming out yesterday, talking about the fentanyl crisis, how it's China's fault. And she said, she called it a weapon of mass destruction. Now, what happened the last time those type of words were uttered by anyone in our government? Well, I think we all know, Iraq.
Yeah.
Now, are we looking at something similar here? I'm just kind of curious what you guys think.
Not changing, but not changing because it is about Pam Bondi. But James O'Keefe dropped a little quick excerpt yesterday, right? Because he's gone dark and there's this big story supposed to be announced tomorrow. And I slowed that video down real slow to go frame by frame to show what he had in it because it was by so fast. And one of those frames is Pam Bondi.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So you know, that and we have the Diddy situation going on and some of the star people being called to the witness stand. Like, man, there's so much happening so fast. I'm not going to put a lot of weight in the weapons of mass destruction because we all see that there weren't any last time. Might be one this time.
No, I don't mean that there is one. All I'm saying is the rhetoric behind it.
Right, those words being used. Last time they were empty and they were used to perpetrate dastardly deeds. This time I think they have weight. But you know, we'll just have to be patient and see what they have up their sleeve.
Yeah, 100%. I agree, Dave.
Yes, it's interesting how it works across the board. Exactly what Alex said on that.
Yeah, James.
I think George Floyd started it. Sorry about that. It just slipped out. I hate it when it does that. Yes, the war on fentanyl. I mean, it is a big war. It's dangerous stuff. I mean, you know, when they're having military operations out in the Pacific and the Gulf of America, and they're catching hundreds of millions of dollars of this stuff. It's dangerous. It's very dangerous. And they said George Floyd had 3 times the amount of fentanyl that would kill an elephant, and that's kind of why I said that. He was a pretty good sized feller, but it takes. I think they said the amount of a needle or a pin, the head of a pin, to kill a man.
Wow.
I mean, that's crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, my brother, before he died, he actually was prescribed fentanyl patches, and he would warn me because he lived for 30 years with HIV, and he had fentanyl patches, and he warned me. He says, Adam, he says, whatever you do not touch that with you, expose it to any of your skin. It'll kill you instantly.
Yeah.
And it didn't take very much at all. And the fact that it is probably a closer description of a weapon of mass destruction flooding our streets than whatever was used to incite the Gulf War situation.
Right, right.
Fentanyl is nothing to mess with.
And like Alex likes to say, don't believe anything you hear, or don't believe anything you hear, and only 50% of what you see. So, but the fact that phraseology was used is what I was highlighting.
It's nasty stuff. My stepdad, who we took care of on hospice for a couple of years, had fentanyl patches, and it was made very clear that you do not apply, you do not remove, you do not touch without plastic gloves on. When he did pass, and the nurses came in to do the end of life things that they do. A big part of what they do is gather all of that stuff, because they have to account for where it is, how it is, what it's being used for, how it's destroyed, all of that. It's serious stuff.
Yeah.
It's not to be messed with. And what's happening is these high school kids that think it's fun to do this and that and take the pills and that, they would actually take the patches, and to get a faster high, they would ingest the patch orally, and that's it. You're done.
Wow.
So it's a bad deal, man.
Wow.
It's a bad deal.
Wow.
If you think about that on such a mass scale, would that not be considered what Pam Bondi has described?
100%.
Right.
Well, and you have people that are recreational users of different things, and then you have nefarious players that will take that substance and add it to their recreational substance, and next thing you know, somebody's dead. Like it's very orchestrated. It's very intentional, in my opinion.
Right, 100%. All right, everybody. Wow, we blew our 50,000 goal out by 18,000. My goodness, we're up at 68,000 likes. So that means only one thing. I think we all know what it means. So everybody at home, get ready. Alex is going to cue up the music. We're going to be doing a little dancing. Here we go. And I want to see everybody at home up and dancing, and everyone on the screen up and dancing, or at least dancing, because it's time. 50,000. We hit it. Well, actually, we blew it out. We're approaching 70,000. So let's see some dancing emojis in the chat, and let's hear everybody at home start dancing. And yes, it is the Trump dance. Yeah, everybody better be dancing at home. We've seen a lot of dancing emojis in the chat. That's what I like to see. All right. Good job, everybody. Oh, boy, we got a lot of people dancing in the chat. I love that. Wendy just said, people are staring at me in Costco. Good job, Wendy.
All the farmers of Minnesota are looking out at the other tractor swerving back and forth up there.
Dude, you shouldn't have said that because it's true. There's a guy right across the road from me, and he stopped this tractor watching me do this shit.
Yeah,
You're in distress.
exactly.
Yeah, he probably got an ambulance coming, the whole thing through.
Exactly. All right, so let's move on to final thoughts here. Adam?
All right, here we go. The 10th Amendment. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectfully or to the people.
Excellent. Thank you. James?
Well, trust the system, folks. We got a lot going on. It's deepening every day. It just doesn't surprise me, whether it's the 6 o'clock, 10 o'clock news or, the midnight search on the internet. There's always a lot of things happening. And, just be aware, keep an eye on your neighbors, keep your refrigerator stocked. We just don't know what's next.
Right, exactly. Dave?
Trump's got a lot of stuff going on this afternoon. He is at 3:30 Eastern. He's going to be meeting with the task force and a few other things happening tonight. So he's always working. I appreciate everybody being here. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. We love having you here, Dave. And if it's going to be this afternoon, Alex, maybe we'll do another live this afternoon. We'll see how it plays out. Anyway, go ahead, Alex.
People of the USA, your resilience, diversity, and spirit of innovation shine brightly. Together, you have the power to build a future filled with hope, unity, endless possibilities. Keep inspiring each other and the world. So saith Grok today.
Excellent. Hey, Rosie just logged on. Lisa said I finally saw her. Rosie, I wanted to thank you live for your support yesterday. I hope that you got my video response to the cups of coffee that you sent me. Rosie sent me some cups of coffee and just said the kindest, sweetest, most uplifting message to me. And I just want to recognize her for that. I won't say your name out loud. I know it's not Rosie, but I just wanted to say thank you. And I hope that you got that. I hope you got that video response that I sent to you. Anyway, everybody, so we blew out the daily goal. We are walking this road arm in arm, shoulder to shoulder. And I think that's what really counts. We're moving towards a time that I don't think we've ever experienced in America or in the world. And I am so grateful that all of you are here with us to do this together. So as I say, every day, or at least most days, the best is yet to come. Guys, thank you for being here. Everybody at home, thank you for your support. Thank you for being here. And we will see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. And Alex will take us out with some music today. There we go.
I'm coming.
I heard that